something bad's coming.
Greetings and welcome to the Nerd College. Sometimes the setting a narrative takes place in generates so much intrigue and atmosphere that it becomes just as important as the characters inhabiting it. There are even locations so interesting and complex that they inspire writers to create even more stories to further map out their details and dive deeper into their mysteries. And our topic today is such a story. It, Welcome to Derry, is a new show that's taking us back to where the terror began and will focus on how evil first came to the town. For those of you not familiar with the franchise or those wanting a bit of a refresher, we'll quickly cover the general premise of Stephen King's It and the various adaptations before diving into the details of what you should expect from the new series, as well as information on the more subtle themes the show will be conveying.
8 years living on base, I just think my missus is ready for a little taste of normal.
Well, if normal is what you're after, you two are going to love Derry.
Although the novel It, which was published in 1986, was the first of Stephen King's to be set in the fictional location of Derry, Maine, it was not the first to mention it, nor would it be the only story of his to take place in the seemingly sleepy New England town. You may find it interesting that a number of his works, such as Insomnia and Dreamcatcher, either fully or partially take place there, and the town was mentioned as early as 1981 in the short story The Bird in the Album, a common practice for King, who often sets his stories in one of a number of shared universes collectively referred to by his followers as the Kingverse or the Macroverse. Keep this in mind for later. Heavily based on the real-world location of Bangor, Maine, Derry perfectly exemplifies the quintessential small towns of its creator's childhood. The type of place that seems so mundane and unassuming from its appearance that it's hard to imagine horror could be residing just beneath the surface. But that's why it works so well.
Flowers? He's always after us.
I guess that's one thing we all have in common.
Get home, school! Welcome to the Losers Club!
The plot of the original novel and its adaptations revolves around a group of 7 children who bond over their shared status as outcasts in the town. They encounter, are tormented by, and eventually defeat an ancient evil entity that's been terrorizing Derry for decades, only for it to return, as it does every 27 years, at which time they confront it once again as adults, who have the power to finally remove it from their community. This entity, which feeds on fear and prefers to prey on children, most often appears in the likeness of Pennywise the dancing clown, but takes on many shapes, each one tailored to elicit the maximum amount of terror from a victim before it devours them completely. Although its true form is an ancient and powerful cosmic entity known as the Deadlights, many have also interpreted Pennywise as a stand-in for the cycles of abuse and trauma that are passed down through generations, which the collectively complicit citizens of Derry continuously ignore and repress.
There's a history of stuff like this happening in Derry.
You kids keep your noses out of police business.
The first on-screen adaptation of the original story came in the form of a 2-part miniseries that debuted in 1990 and starred the incomparable Tim Curry as the titular clown, the kind of guy who always hits the like button when he's enjoying a YouTube video. A major television event at the time, the miniseries was praised for its lead performance and captivating atmosphere, although the special effects used to create the monster's final form have been much maligned over the years. In this adaptation, the plot alternates between the 2 timelines covered in the novel. Exactly 27 years later, the first feature film based on the story would premiere and focus on the events of the protagonist's childhood, while its follow-up in 2019 would center on the adult versions of the characters as they return to Derry and face the monster of their childhood traumas. These films' terrifying version of Pennywise was brought to life by the talented Bill Skarsgård, who will thankfully be returning to the role in Welcome to Derry. Although both adaptations chose to focus most on developing the characters of the 7 leads and the horror elements of Pennywise itself, they were also each forced to leave out a number of background details. This, of course, makes a lot of sense given their runtime, with the television miniseries clocking in at just over 3 hours, and a total length of 5 hours for the 2 films combined. They both did an excellent job conveying their vision of King's 1,100-page tome.
This business with the missing kids. Do I need to be concerned?
Never a bad idea to keep the people you love close.
It's Welcome to Derry, which will begin premiering on HBO Max October 26th, looks to be taking the social commentary of the novel and running with it, while still containing enough scares from Pennywise to please fans of the franchise. With Season 1 comprising 9 hour-long episodes, the show will have plenty of time to investigate the finer details of the setting. The story will be taking inspiration from the interludes found in King's novel, which gave the reader insights into Derry's history. Serving as a prequel to the films and set 27 years beforehand in 1962, Welcome to Derry will delve more deeply into the town's dark history, including the fire at the Black Spot nightclub, a plot point from King's novel. The season looks to begin with the arrival of a new family moving into Derry, the Hanlons. Many of you should recognize their name, as Leroy and Charlotte are the grandparents of Mike Hanlon, one of the major protagonists of the original story. Immediately after they arrive, they learn of a young boy's disappearance and quickly begin to suspect that something is very wrong with their new hometown. As is appropriate for the franchise, the cast will include a group of plucky youngsters who begin to experience strange happenings while attempting to uncover truths the adults in town would prefer to stay hidden. It's been confirmed that the origins of how it came to Derry will be revealed. However, the showrunners have also stated that they've laid out the plans for 3 seasons, each one taking place in a separate period of Derry's past. So don't expect every question to be answered in these first 9 episodes. We also know that the series will attempt to continue the horror and intensity established in the films, and that being a main character will not guarantee anyone's safety. Longtime fans of Stephen King should keep an eye out for Easter eggs and references to his other works, like the name Shawshank State Prison, which has already appeared in the teaser trailers. It's possible that Welcome to Derry could be the beginning of an on-screen interconnected universe of Stephen King properties, depending on its success. And those of us at the Nerd College are here for it. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more introductions to outstanding films, shows, and anime. Now, off to your next class.
You do that little dance. Am I the only one who remembers this shit?